Hi, everyone. Welcome back to That's Debatable. Today, we're going to be talking about a pretty sad story, but nonetheless, it's one I wanted to share. So, here we go. I live in a very small town, and when you hear like things about like small towns, you hear like, oh, it's almost like the Riverdale of like, oh my God, so much stuff is happening, da 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 da. And as of lately, or not even as of lately, as of a couple years, I've been realizing that it is so true what people think about small towns of stuff happens all the time, but it doesn't really get shared because of the fact that it is so small. And the people that live there have lived there for years on end, like generations. And now it's starting to like look a little different because, Latino power. They all came in after out of New York City straight into the town. So now it's a little bit better, but there's just been some crazy stuff that's been happening, and I didn't want to talk about this because I felt like, one, it was just so sad. Like, I know you guys come on here to like get entertained and like haha kiki with me, but this one genuinely was traumatizing, and I didn't realize it was traumatizing until I was in New York City. It was just New York Fashion Week, and a dog was, and stay with me here because it's gonna get crazy. A dog was like walking by me, somebody with their owner, and it was a big dog. It was like that dog could have been like 100 pounds, and instantly my body like went into like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like I'm scared. And I was like, wait, why am I scared of a dog? Like I used to have dogs, although I'm allergic to dogs, but I used to have dogs, but I used to have small dogs. And then I realized it's because of what happened a couple months ago when I saw a dog get shot. And I have never heard a gun go off this close to me. And it just puts so many things in perspective. And then my friends and I were talking about like, oh my God, like so much crazy stuff has been happening in our town. I'm going to call it a town, but it's a village, whatever, in our town. And so much so, even like this has nothing to do with the story, but just to kind of show you like the little like small crazy stuff that happens within like just a tiny little village. I think about a year or two ago, a body was found in a barrel on a main road in actually, it was like 2 blocks away from my house, or the house that I used to live in. A body was literally pushed into like this Breaking Bad barrel. Like if you guys watch Breaking Bad, you know when they like put the bodies in that like rubber blue bin and they put like the acid so to it very morbid, very morbid. But that same barrel was found on a street by the house I used to live by, and it like shook the town because there was helicopters, there was news. They were like, "What the? Why is this body of a dead person in a barrel?" Which is like, even as I'm saying it, it sounds really like morbid, but that's literally what happened. It shook the whole entire town, and turns out somebody because at that point, not at that point, it still is. It's not like the continents are moving or anything. And I guess we don't know what happens. One thing turns into another thing. Girl ends up being dead, unfortunately, and the piece of guy decides to stuff her body in a barrel and leave it in the village I used to live in. And that's when we were like, whoa, crazy stuff has been happening around this town. Like, that's a little nuts. And now this takes me to my experience of something that I was like, okay. I was at my friend's house and we were all just chilling. Like it was a really random day because we were like, oh, whatever, we're just gonna go there, but we're only gonna be there for like an hour or two. We really don't want to be here long. Because we at that point were like hanging out a lot. And I was just like, I haven't been home in a minute. Like, I just want to go home. And for whatever reason, something in me told me to stay. And I was like, oh, okay. Let's say if it was like 8 o'clock. And 8 o'clock, I was like, all right, it's 8 o'clock. I should probably start heading home. And I looking at my other friends and they're like, yeah, we're probably going to start heading out too. And then again, they were like, actually, you know what? Let's just finish this episode of Survivor because we love Survivor. And then we'll head out. It's fine. It's cool. We'll stay like another 30, 40 minutes. So we decided to stay another 30, 40 minutes. 30, 40 minutes pass. And all of a sudden, the owner of the house, who's my friend, gets up and runs downstairs. And we're like, okay, is everything? And we were in the attic, so we're at like the highest point of the house. And we were like, oh, okay, this is a little weird. That's strange. That's suspicious. And we just hear like, and I heard yelling, but I thought it was like the kids outside, like taking advantage of the summer and living their best life and doing, I don't know, playing backyard again. Don't know, don't care. Didn't think about it. But once we see him run down, we're like, ooh. We hear him calling out for his dog, and we're like, wait, what the heck? Like, is this dog okay? Also, this dog is huge, but he is the sweetest little animal ever. He doesn't understand how strong he is, but this dog is like 95 pounds, huge, like, but a sweetheart. Like, every time you see him, he like gives you kisses. Like, he's so sweet, so sweet, so sweet. And once we start hearing him, my friend yell his dog's name, we're like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? Maybe he got out. Maybe, we don't know. We don't know what happened. So we start running down the stairs. And as we're running down the stairs, we're looking out the window, and we don't even see anything. We just hear yelling and a commotion. And we're like, oh my God, what happened? Did this dog get out and accidentally bite somebody? Like, that's the base of what we were thinking, as bad as it got. And then we're running down the stairs, and then we hear a gunshot. And I'm like, oh my God, what? I'm not outside. I can't see anything at this point, but all you can smell in the air is like the gunpowder of the gun because of how close it was. So we were like, this gun wasn't shot like down the block. It was shot literally right outside this house, and we're right next to the door. And in that moment, it's me and my other two friends. We look at each other in like a state of shock, and we're like, wait, who just got shot? Because if a gun got fired, it wasn't just purposely to be like, stop that shit. Like, this is not the Wild Wild West. Like, they're probably aiming at somebody. So now we're thinking, oh my God, did the dog get shot? Did our friend get shot? Did his mom get shot? Like, who got shot? And any one of those three cases are absolutely terrible, because I mean, it's just terrible. And I don't even have to have an explanation. It's literally just traumatic, and it's scary. So my friend Matt runs out through the front door, and I'm like, one thing I'm not going to do is run towards gunshots. Like, you got me all the way up. I am so sorry. I'm not running out through the front door. I'm not an Avenger. So I look at my friend, right, and I'm like, that, we're going through the back. I opened, because the back door is directly into the backyard, and the backyard has is fenced in. So if anybody were to be on the other end of the backyard, like, there has to be a reason, and two, like, it's just, I felt safer doing that. We open the back door, and we just hear commotion. You can smell the gunpowder, and all of a sudden, I see this beast, like a beast of an animal. And I open the door because I'm like, oh my God, if they shot this dog that lives in this house, that is my friend's dog, he's going to be so traumatized. I'm going to be traumatized. Like, that's going to be a lot. And again, you hear another gunshot. And I'm like, oh my God. Now they're just shooting willy-nilly. Like, now what are we doing here? What do you have to shoot more than once for it not to go down? And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm thinking the worst case scenario. I'm walking, because I have to kind of set it up. When you open the back door, there's kind of like this area where you can look out and see the rest of the backyard. And there's an area where you don't see of that kind of, obviously because of where the house is. And an animal starts walking and turns the corner, and that's when I'm able to look at it. And I'm thinking, oh, it's my friend's dog. Okay, we're going to bring you to safety. I will save you. I will resurrect you. I don't know. I'll do anything I can. And when I see this animal, I realize that is not my friend's dog. What the is that? And when I tell you the fear that went into my body when I saw that dog, I was like, what the is that? I have never seen a dog this big ever in my entire life. This dog's head was like this big, and it was like panting, and you could tell that it just got into like a big, when dogs get into fights and like they get off of each other, and like you can kind of smell like how sweaty they are through their fur. It was very like, I could smell that. And when I saw the dog, I look at Andre, and I'm like, Andre, close the door. And he's like, oh, like, close the door. And I'm literally standing there like, wait, what? No, there's no way. Where did this dog come from? What is happening? So I open the door again, and a dog starts creeping towards me. And immediately I think because my body goes into shock of being like, what do I do here? That I freeze. And I honestly at that point accepted my faith. I was like, if this dog charges at me or goes to do anything, it could genuinely kill me. Not only kill me, but put me in very big harm's way. And again, my friend's dog is huge. He's probably the biggest dog I've ever seen. This dog was bigger than that. And I was like, oh, oh. The dog tries to walk into the house. The dog tries walking into the house. I said, oh, what if, now what I'm thinking is the dog got into a fight with my friend's dog and now he's trying to find like cover, whatever. We can't let him in the house because this is my friend's dog's house. And you know how dogs be getting like territorial and stuff, and like that would just be a big thing. And now we got to get the dog out of the house. Like, no, we're not doing that. So he tries to like come in, and Andre's like trying to close the door. And again, I don't see this until the very last moment. There's two steps before you can go fully into the backyard. The dog starts walking up the steps, and I look at Andre, and I'm like, dude, this dog is gonna kill us. This dog is gonna kill us if, like, whatever it is, he's gonna kill us. And then I start noticing that he's moving really, really slow. And I'm like, wait, if this dog wanted to kill us, he could have just charged fully at us. But he's moving like slower. I can hear him panting. I smell the sweat coming off of his fur. And we're literally standing like this right at the front step. The dog goes right here, collapse, and just starts, dies. Just dies. Fully just dies at our feet. And I'm like, oh my God. And I look at the dog, and the dog on his hip has like 2 gunshots. And I'm like, this dog got shot twice. And this dog not only got shot twice, it walked the whole backyard, came over here, tried to come inside. Like that's just to show you guys how big this dog was, that they had to shoot it twice and it was still moving. And I'm like traumatized. It literally just died at our feet. I heard it take its last breath. I could smell it. And I was like, oh my God. 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 And I look at my friend Andre, and I'm like, Andre, no way that just happened. We were just having a great time. We were laughing. It was literally a good day. And now we're dealing with a 115-pound dog dead at our feet that just got shot twice. Police are yelling outside. They're like, what's the code? What's the code? Because now they have to let animal control in. And I'll never forget the face of that girl from animal control when the dog was like taking its like last breath, and she's walking in to the backyard with like the stick. Usually it's like the stick to either like sedate them or like to hold like the thing of like hold them down. And she's walking up and she sees that the dog is dying. And I would never forget her face. It's like engraved in my memory for the rest of my life. And she just looks and she goes, and she's like, just grab him. Just grab him. She's like, just let him. She's like, just stand still. And that's what we did. Stood still as this dog literally just passed away in front of us. And I've seen dogs die before, but I've seen dogs die. Like my dogs, they passed away. They were like 17. So, I mean, very traumatic though. Still very traumatic whenever an animal passes away. But it wasn't as like violent as this. And I'm looking, and now I'm like, oh my God, okay, let's just go back inside the house, because this is a lot. And like, we just stood there for what felt like literally hours of just taking everything in, of like, you could smell the gunpowder. Like everything is just so vivid in my memory. I feel like it was just, it like shook me up. So we closed the door and we go out, and we're by the front door, and my friend Matt comes back in, and he was like, holy shit. And we're like, what the happened? Did this dog get into a fight with her? How did the dog get into the backyard? Because again, there's a fence around his backyard. So there's no way people can come in or out unless you had like the code. And he goes, the dog essentially it was a Rottweiler. The Rottweiler had a brother. And both brothers got, I guess, freed from their house, or I don't know, or their owners, But basically, essentially, and the owners, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna hold them negligent, just because if you have a big dog, it's a big responsibility, especially dogs like Rottweilers, or not because I'm saying they're aggressive, but more so of the fact that sometimes, even just like my friend's dog, they just don't know how strong they are. They're there to play, they want to have fun, they want to, do whatever they do, but these specific dogs were aggressive, and I don't believe that dogs are just born aggressive. I don't know, I don't believe like people are just born aggressive. I feel like they kind of go through things and kind of they build their personalities based off of that. And these two Rottweilers were let loose through my town, and they were just running around, running around, running around. And the first one, his brother, which was the smaller one, but still big, still big, still a Rottweiler, a lady was walking on his block. And now this is where it gets scary, because again, we were supposed to leave because we were like, we just want to go, we just want to go, we just want to go. When we were supposed to leave, there was a woman walking on the same block of his house, and the two dogs, because they were just let loose, went and attacked her. And they attacked her, and oh my God. When I tell you we got the safe side of things, because by the time it got to us, things were starting to like dissipate. That woman got scalped. That woman got torn into shreds. Like, she was in the like intensive care unit. She had to go through a bunch of surgeries. That's what the article says, because again, I wasn't there to see hers, but she definitely did get scalped. And the dogs essentially almost killed her. And that's when the police were called, because you could just hear the screams of this woman. And what I thought was little children playing backyardigans was actually a woman screaming in like pain. Oh my God. Me saying this story, I'm like, oh God, it was like very, very traumatic. And because now the police show up and they're now trying to contain these two dogs, but they also have to be really careful, because obviously these two dogs just put some serious damage on this woman. And this is all public information, so it's not like I'm spreading chisme or gossip around. Like, this is all public information. But lady went through a really, really hard time. I don't even know dogs could scalp people. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't realize that. Again, I've only had like these little small dogs, but when they bite me, I get scared and I just push them off. But like these dogs, especially if they're saying that this other one was the smaller one in comparison to the one that we saw, like I can't imagine that dog not being just going at somebody. I was scared and the dog was coming towards us pretty slow. Now imagine if it was like fine, well fed, no shots in him, like, or not sedated, nothing. And oh my God, it was actually, this was crazy. So they end up being able to contain one dog, the smaller dog. And they put him in the cage and they're like, get animal control here. We need to get this other dog. This other dog is like roaming free. And this happened for the 30 minutes that we were watching Survivor. And if we would have left when we wanted to leave, it could have been any of us. It really could have been any of us, because they have the timestamps of when everything happened. And that's literally when I was like, oh, guys, I think we should head out. And then something in me was like, no, let's just finish this episode of Survivor. We only have like 25, 30 minutes left. And what ended up happening was the second dog, because he saw, okay, they just got my brother and they put him in a cage. I'm going to start running around. Starts running around. And I don't know how this is even possible. He ended up digging underneath the fence of my friend's backyard and getting underneath and getting into the backyard. And because my friend's dog, likes to roam free, he likes to play outside, like whatever, he was also outside. So when my friend's dog saw it, he was like, what the f***? Like, who are you? And what are you doing here? And he was just trying to play like, oh, okay, whatever, it's a friend. Like, that's fine. I guess I'm in a play date. But the dogs ended up fighting, because obviously the other Rottweiler was like super aggressive. Dogs ended up fighting. His mom comes out, bless her soul. When she tries to break it up, the other dog, the Rottweiler, goes and attacks her shoulder and like starts ripping her shoulder apart. And that's when the police, because the police were already there. She's like screaming, they're like, get this animal off me, get this off me. The police officers jump on top of the fence, and since the dog is on top of his mom, police grab it and they shoot it. And that's what we heard. And that's when we opened the door and they shoot it again because they shot it and it wouldn't go down. So they had to shoot it again. And I was like, oh, what the actual is happening in this town? What the I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So the dog unfortunately ends up dying at our feet. When we went outside, where the lady got attacked, which is just like a few feet ahead from his house on the sidewalk, because she was just casually walking, like on a hot girl walk. And I don't think she expected to get attacked by two like rabid dogs. And there was blood everywhere. Everywhere. Not from my friend's mom, but from, I mean, she was bleeding as well, but I also didn't get a chance to see her because they rushed her straight to the ambulance. Because again, you never know what those dogs have. And all you see is like the police officers just grabbing buckets and like trying to wash away her blood. And we're like, what happened? What happened? And they're like, oh, a lady got scalped. Like these two dogs essentially almost killed her. We had to put the other one down because the other one was going to do the same thing. If the other dog would have gotten my friend's mom's neck, it would have been over for her. It would have been over for her. And that's why she went like this to try to like cover herself. Because again, when you have, that dog is definitely over like 100 pounds. And I know that if that were me in my situation, that dog could have given anybody the work. I don't know. It doesn't matter how big you are. Don't matter. If you're 6 foot, 7 foot, doesn't matter. That dog would have given you the work. That's how big it was. And yeah, we stayed there for a good amount of time afterwards just to make sure everything was okay, to calm the dog down. Because it's so sad when dogs get like anxiety attacks, because I fully saw this dog get an anxiety attack. Luckily, everybody is okay now. I'm not too sure what happened with the woman that got scalped. I know that she was in the hospital or the intensive like unit care or whatever, for ICU, whatever it may be, for a minute. I don't know if she's still there. I don't know. I don't know who the woman is, so I can't tell her story. But I can only just tell my version of things, of what I saw. And my friend's mom is fine. She just had to like kind of go get some stitched up, and like, obviously it still hurt her, but she was overall okay. Luckily, that's a very sweet lady. So I was like very scared, and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, I'm so sorry. The dog is fine now, but I was talking about it with my friend Andre the other day when I saw him this past weekend, and I was just like, can you believe like that just casually happened? And that's why now whenever I see a big dog, I didn't even think it was going to be like, okay, whatever, like it happens. Like, I'm not saying like the dog should have got shot, but there was really no other way to immobilize him. There was nothing else to do, which is the saddest part, and that's why I kind of put it more on the owners than I do the dogs. Because I mean, if you're breeding these dogs and you just have them out and you know that these dogs can do some serious damage, and you don't train them, or at least put some effort into raising them, they're gonna be aggressive. And especially, and this turns out this is not the first time that these dogs were let loose either, because there was articles years before of the same thing, two Rottweilers walking around like this like elementary school. And I'm like, oh my God, these two menaces of dogs. God, I can't imagine what must be happening like in that house for those dogs to feel like, just have that rage to do that to somebody. There's a difference between like playing, but again, I've been around a lot of even pit bulls. I've been around pit bulls. I've been around and it really is dependent on how you raise them, how you train them, and the type of love you give them. There's been pit bulls that I've been around that literally that are not aggressive. And I feel like that whole move of like, pit bulls are aggressive dogs. No, people suck and can't train their dogs properly. That's what it is. Because at the end of the day, you can get a Chihuahua is probably the most aggressive dog I've ever seen in my entire life. But the only difference is the Chihuahua is this big, so you can't really do anything about it. But I mean, you can do something about it. You can still train it to be like, don't be biting everybody. Like, no. But when you have a dog that can match somebody's weight as a human being, you have to be really cautious of that. And you have to be very like, okay, We're gonna do our due diligence to train it, even if it's a golden retriever. Those are big dogs. Those are big ass dogs, and you still have to train those dogs because they don't know their strength. They don't know what they that oh, if I bite somebody, it's going to really, really, really hurt them. Now, if you're encouraging that behavior, yeah, then they're gonna rip you to shreds. So I think that it was a little crazy, and it's unfortunate that the dog had to be, taken out like that, all just because of the fact that it's like, oh, so these are two dogs. How are you just letting your dogs go loose? And this isn't even the first time. I understand sometimes dogs get out, but both of them were let loose. And this isn't the first time. This isn't the second time. This isn't the third time that this has happened. Of people have seen these dogs around town, and they're like, be careful because at the end of the day, they're loose animals. And not really sure what happened with the owners. Don't really know. I heard some like in town gossip about it, but I'm not gonna like share it because I don't know if it's necessarily true. So I'm not here to be like, and this is what happened because I honestly don't know. All I do know is what I saw, and it was really sad. And I just it's crazy. I can't look at a big dog and not be scared. I don't care how friendly you can say it is. It's just something in me like kind of triggers my like. I think it's because it takes me back to just that smell of his fur and him being sweaty and him literally fighting for his life of trying to like gasp for air. That is like, I don't want to be anywhere around that. And also the damage that these dogs can do is what's scary. And that's why I feel like, again, if you're going to get a big dog, train it. If you're going to get a small dog, train it. If you're going to get an animal, train it. Because I even like, I don't know if you guys remember that monkey that the girl had. Was her name Jane, or am I making that up from Tarzan? I don't know. But she had a monkey, and was it a chimpanzee? I think it was a chimpanzee. And she raised it from when it was a baby to like a full blown like adult. And one day out of the next, it just ripped her face off. You can't see her face. Ripped it. Just ripped it. I also don't know why people think it's cute to buy exotic animals and keep them as house pets. You can't domesticate these animals at the end of the day. They can love you and whatever. Like, I know that there's this one guy who goes and like has raised lions, but he does them in their territory. So whenever he comes to see them, they're very nice. But it's not like he's like, I'm going to raise a lion in my house in the suburbs. Girl, like these are animals and they have their space. They have their place to be. But if you get anything from this, train your freaking animals. Train your animals, especially like just dogs. I don't know. Cats kind of mind their own business. They don't really care about you. They'll probably give you like a little, and like even then you'll be like, stop. But you have to be very aware. Like even my sister has like a little dog named Appa, and he's so well trained. And he's like very super cute. Also, just show these animals love. Like I feel like sometimes these animals are raised in like, maybe these dogs are raised in like a really aggressive way, and that's what made them aggressive. Because it doesn't make sense to me for two Rottweilers to go out and just start attacking people, trying to kill them. Like, what must have been happening? It's almost like a little kid. You know when a little kid goes to school and starts being like a menace and starts being really mean? Like, that all starts at home. Same thing with dogs. It all starts at home. So, that's my story. This wasn't a really funny one. I'm sorry. But, like, it's scary and I can't get these, like, pictures out of my mind. I don't know if they ever will. And I saw a Rottweiler. That's the dog that I saw for New York Fashion Week when we were like just with its owner, super nice. And my body went into like, I literally walked on the other side of the sidewalk because I was like, no, 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 no. And it's not anything against dogs. I love dogs. But like, I was like, mm-mm-mm. The last time I saw a Rottweiler that close to me, he got shot twice and was still moving around. How do you get shot twice and keep moving around? Like, don't know. So that was the story for today. Be kinder to your animals. If you guys are deciding to get animals, adopt your animals and treat them with love. Because if not, they're still animals, just like we are. We're still animals. And if you put a human being in a bad environment and raise them in that, they are going to have some personality traits from that. So that was that. Sorry about it being a little bit of a somber story, but it was just to show you what stuff happens in a small town. We went from a woman's body being pushed into a barrel and put on a main road to a dog getting shot twice. So Small towns is that little conspiracy that people have about small towns. It's like the weirdest and craziest things happen in small towns. And I know people think like New York City's crazy too. The craziest things happen in the smallest of towns. So just keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. But that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back next week for another episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me how you guys feel about it. Do you guys have any dog stories or any animal stories in general? Because I feel like also weird before I go. I feel like I've always had like really bad luck with some type of animal. Well, I'm allergic to dogs now, but I had a Dalmatian bite me in my face. My fault though. My fault. That was 100 type of. I was a little girl, didn't really understand boundaries, and I love to kiss dogs. I'm like, oh, he's so cute, and I went full adult dog. And I didn't know that Dalmatians are aggressive dogs. Supposedly, I didn't know that. I thought. I mean, I don't know if they are, but I guess that's like something that I've heard somewhere. Don't quote me on that. But gave it a kiss, and it just chomped on my face, and I was like, okay, that is the last time I get close to any of you guys. Like, I don't, and then I built an allergy. So, I mean, my body kind of knew. So, hi. But, anyways, little random story for you there. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys again next week. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments, or if you guys have any of your own experiences. I would love to hear. And yeah, bye.